What do you do when you get in an automobile accident? Well, depending upon who you ask, you can get varying answers. But the person that you should be asking is your insurance advisor. And in today's video, we're going to give you 5 things that you need to do. And we'll look at all those coming up next. Hey folks, Jack Wingate here, and on this channel, we help individuals, families, and businesses save money on their insurance, help you understand insurance a little bit better, and let you know what's going on in the insurance industry. And for the most part, people just don't get in automobile accidents. Now, some people get in accidents all the time. Some people never get in accidents. But regardless of whether it's your first accident or your 10th accident, people always misread the situation and do not act appropriately. So today we're going to look at 5 things that you need to do after you're involved in an automobile accident. First things first, call the police. I don't care if it's a small fender bender, if it's a major wreck, if it's a parking lot incident, always, always, always call the police. While this may seem unnecessary in some situations, trust me from experience here, you need to contact the police, have them come out. It's part of what they do. If it's not a big deal, fine. But make sure you contact the police. Make sure they get you a police report. That will make things much, much simpler as you move down the line. Second thing you need to do is seek or get medical attention if you're injured. Now, most accidents that are minor don't really involve injuries, but your safety and the safety of the other people in the incident is of ultimate concern. Everything else is just stuff. So if you're injured, if you feel in the slight bit injured, get medical attention. Get the EMS people there. You've already called the police, so they should be looking at you. While they're not trained EMS individuals, they do have a little bit of training when it comes to making sure people are all right, and if they're not, getting them safe. So number 2, make sure you seek and get medical attention if you need it. All right, third thing you need to do after an accident. You've already contacted the police. You have sought out medical attention if necessary. So now it's time to start documenting. And what better to document with than the trusty old camera right here? Yes, every one of you, more than likely, has a smartphone in your possession at all times. So back up about 4 or 5 feet from your vehicle and take pictures. Take pictures of all sides of the vehicle if possible. Now, don't step out into oncoming traffic to take pictures. Don't be ridiculous with that. Make sure you take some pictures of your vehicle from all sides if possible. Take pictures of the other person's vehicle or the other vehicles that were involved in the accident. If possible, take some pictures of the entire scene of the accident. This will come in handy for both the police or any authorities that come on the scene, as well as your insurance adjuster should you have to file a claim. All right, number 4. And we're not asking you to know a lot about vehicles here. What we're going to ask is that you use some common sense, because the 4th thing you need to do is assess the damage to your vehicle. There are a few ways of doing this. Again, we don't need you to be a mechanic, but if you see fluids leaking, if you smell gasoline, if your car is just banged up and your wheels are trapped, then obviously there's not much you can do, but assess the damage to your vehicle, and if possible, let's move that vehicle out of harm's way, meaning oncoming traffic or out of the middle of the road, you can do that. But again, we want to make sure that you're safe in doing this. So again, smell of gas is always a big no-no. Get away from that situation. If the vehicle just won't start, just leave it. But assess the damage to your vehicle before you do anything else. All right, we have had an accident. We've contacted the police. Second, we have sought out medical treatment if necessary. Third, we've taken photos of the vehicles, of the scene of the accident. Fourth, we've assessed the damage of the vehicle. We've determined whether or not it's safe to drive, if there's any danger that may be involved. So the final thing you need to do is simple. Contact your insurance provider. Now, at this point, we're not asking you, we don't need you to determine fault. The officer on the scene will do a good job of trying to determine, who's at fault from a legal standpoint. But fault in insurance and in legal with the police report can be a little different. So we're not asking you to determine whether or not your insurance needs to pay or someone else needs to pay. But contact your insurance provider. Some insurance companies actually have an insurance app. Let's pull that up real quick. Here's what an insurance app looks like with ALLCHOICE Insurance. With that app, you can actually pull it up after the accident. It'll walk you through the steps. It'll tell you that you need to get the other person's information, their name, date of birth, driver's license number, phone number, address. It'll store pictures that you've taken. But what we want to make sure of is that when you're talking to your insurance provider, that you don't wait a long time. Call them, if possible, from the scene. All the time this isn't possible, and that's why the app is great for this, because it stores all the information that you need. But your insurance provider can walk you through the steps that are going to be needed, the information that will be needed to help you with your claim. And again, those things are photos. We've already taken those. The other driver, other person's information, driver's license number, name, address, contact info, stuff like that. So the final thing that you need to do is make sure you contact your insurance provider as soon as possible while it's fresh on your head. All right, folks, getting in an accident is a traumatic experience. For the most part, people don't get in accidents every day. So each time you do get in an accident, whether it's the first time, the 10th time, a lot of times you won't do the right things that are needed to help you down the line. But if you'll follow those 5 simple steps, it'll make the world of difference. Hey, I hope you have found a little bit of value in this video. And until next time, we'll see you.